Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me know where you are coming in from. I'll tell you where I'm coming in from. Finally, it's nice to be home. We've been, where have we been? Chicago. We've been up in Maryland, and we're getting ready to head over to Austin, Texas. Oh, wait. No, I guess we're going to New Jersey before then. And then we're headed up to Austin, Salt Lake, then back to Austin, and then back to North Carolina and South Carolina, and then back to Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas to wrap it up at the beginning of October. So we're going to be going bonkers until then. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope last Saturday that you got a chance to watch the Justin Horner interview. It was fantastic. It was an hour and 30 minutes long. I know that's a long time, but we actually chopped that down. It was about a 2 hour and 20-minute interview, and we chopped that down a little bit, as much as we could, but there was so much meat in it around AI and the plumbing of AI, and one of the leaders, somebody that set up all the tech, for the worldwide giant that is known as Walmart, right? So it was a very significant conversation. Make sure that that if you get a chance, go over to YouTube, or I think you can find it now on jasoncisneros.com or built2exit.biz, and you can find that interview. I've got some other interviews that I have done recently that are going to start hitting, that are very, very valuable to you as a business owner. And just wanted to kind of let everybody know that we're on a roll for the interviews. I've got a few more lined up, and some very interesting people. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Jason Cisneros, and this is the Built to Exit podcast. We do this every Saturday, 9 a.m. live across all of the channels. My team puts together an amazing show. We talk about what the subject is, what we want to talk about. We try to make it timely. We try to make it, coincide with things that may be going on, tariffs, and, massive launches, and, all kinds of different things that are going on, to make it relevant to you, the business owner. Who is my audience? Who is the audience of this particular show? It is a business owner it has gone through a lot of things. Like, you've tried the hype, you've tried consultants, you've tried all these other types of things. You've been in business long enough to know and understand that there are principles, and then there's hype. And we do our best to absolutely focus on the principles of business here, while attempting to be a little entertaining. And also, the most important thing is gathering the people that are watching this, people that are sharing the show, the people that become regulars, and we get to see when I'm speaking all around the world. You can see my speaking schedule on jasoncisneros.com. Just go to the events, you'll see where I'm going to be. I really love for our interactions to become, as the kids these days say, IRL, right? In real life. That's where they lead to. But it's not just in relationship to me. It's a relationship to the people that are commenting. I see the names, I see the people, I see Ruben, I see Julie, I see Christopher, I see people that have been around me and in this environment for years. I've watched their businesses grow. I've watched their lives change, and getting to know them and doing business with each other is just as important of an outcome of this show as you liking it, sharing it, sending it to somebody that's out there. We are sort of a no BS zone, and we like to figure out and talk about things that are going to actually move the needle in our businesses. So that's who it's for. And we pick subjects this week. I had another subject in mind, which we will most likely do next week, but there was something that happened, and we're going to kind of go through this. Remember, I want to address a core idea. I want to address a core concept that impacts our family. Who is our family? Again, who is the show for? Small and mid-sized business owners, 0 to 499 employees. They call them SMEs around the world. 330 million people in the United States, only 33 million of us in this country are what we call business owners. Out of that 33 million, we do 60 to 70% of the GDP. That's 17 to 18, 20, depending on, where we are, $1 trillion. And we got called non-essential during, the 2020 debacle and all that kind of stuff. We are not non-essential. We are absolutely essential. There's so many things about our family, about our team. There's so many things about you that I have come to know. I've traveled this country end to end. I've traveled around the world, and business owners are my people. That's who I want to spend the rest of my life around and with. For those of you that are new, my wife and I, my team, my business, what we do is we buy and sell businesses constantly. I, started out in business just like everybody else. I crashed my first three, and had what I now term three back-to-back involuntary exits. No fun. Nobody wants to do that. But the premise of today's show is based around this number. 95% of companies don't see their 10th birthday. And you've heard me say that. I say it almost every show, but I say that for the premise of today's show, which is you've got to get great at discernment. You've got to get great at separating yourself from the crowd. You've got to, if you're going to be a business owner that understands the premise, the perspective. And this is where I get a lot of phone calls. I get a lot of DMs, a lot of emails into the show and in my life that say, Jason, when you said that your catchphrase, right, which is everybody exits, how matters. It made an impact on me because my dad died at his desk. I watched my father sell to a company that never paid him out on the money, and it just crumbled after 20 years, and thinking that they were going into their twilight years. There's, everybody, it starts to dawn on people that it's not what all of the hype is about. It really is about a methodical, executable, duplicatable, prosecutable plan if you architect it correctly and you model yourself after those businesses that have made it from the 95% that fail to the 5% that succeed. Okay. And at the end of the day, that's who we talk about. Those are the things that I have honed in on over the years. Second kind of exit we talk about is called a dictated exit. And that is, again, using me as the example, because this is where it came from. I got out of the phase of my life where I kept crashing businesses, got into more of a successful loop, built a company that somebody else wanted to buy, and then sat down across the table from somebody who knew how to buy businesses and me selling my first one. Predictably, I got my ass handed to me. That's called a dictated exit. Very useful, but it took 3 years to get my money. I probably got half of what I should have gotten, but learned a really strong lesson. First one was don't fail. That's miserable. It makes you, causes divorces like it did with me, causes, almost mental breakdowns like it did for me, causes your loss of reputation. It causes bankruptcy. It causes losing your home, causes all kinds of things that you just don't want to experience. Right. So then you get into dictating and you're like, well, I don't like to lose. I know that if you are a business owner and you're following me and you're watching me and you dial into this show, I know that as a business owner, you don't like to lose. I know you have a competitive spirit inside of you. I know that there's a rebel, rousing around in there. No matter how polished you may look to the rest of the world, you only own a business because something inside of you said, I can't do for other people without thinking they're dumb or they're idiots or they're running what they're doing. I cannot be at the mercy of someone else. Therefore, I become a business owner on my own. So I know the spirit of who you are, right? And knowing that, then you don't want to lose. And so the next time I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be doing this business thing for quite a while in my life. I said, what did the person sitting across the table from me know that I didn't know? How did they kick my ass so well? I knew my business inside and out. I knew my numbers. I knew the stories. I knew where all the bodies were buried. I knew all of the stuff about my business, but I had no concept about the second rail of you being a business owner. And that second rail is the first rail is you have to fall in love with the outcome of somebody else. From the movie Robots, there's a character in there called Big Weld. Find a need, fill a need. That's all you need, right? Find a need, fill a need. And that's honestly the only bit of consulting or coaching you actually need if for you to change your life in your business. Find a need, fill a need. Now, obviously, fill it better than anybody else. Know your numbers, get a team that's going to run, put yourself an exit plan, all of those things. That's rail number one. And we got nothing to talk about until you optimize rail number one. Rail number two is when you get that kind of dialed and you shift away from all of the things that the 95% that fail are doing, like buying the newest guru's bullshit, lots of stuff. We won't go into that right now. We're going to get into some of it here in a second, but you then go over here and you go, oh, okay. So now I've got that. I've got my core audience. I've got a machine built that creates cash. Over here, second rail is if everybody exits how matters, what that means is I need to start building this company for the next owner. The next owner is only going to buy it. A couple of things. You're going to hand over what you're doing to your kids, right? Second generation. You're going to take what you've got, hand it over to your employees. And if it's a pile of garbage, you're going to hand a pile of garbage to your kids. If it's a pile of garbage, you're going to hand it to your employees, right? If it's a good business, you'll hand it over to them and hopefully pray to God that they are able to do a better with it in the second generation than you did in the first. Got some numbers that says that that's not true. You'll see those in just a second. And then the third one is you're going to sell it to somebody else. Now that somebody else is only going to buy that business if you think you're selling a business. They're buying certainty. Certainty of what? They raised money. It's their own money. They're going to come in and buy the business, and they want certainty that for the next 5 years, they can predictably make their money back. End of sentence. If you can't do that, if you can't tell that story, they're going to go from you to somebody else and they're going to be able to buy that business while yours will. Here's what happens with most. Put it on the market, 100%. Okay. 100% of people who put their business on the market shrinks to 7% sell. That's 93%. So you don't have a high likelihood. We're also going to talk about that here in just a second. But you got to look at the world through numbers, right? That's the whole idea behind today's shows is you got to look behind the numbers. Now, if you want to jump on the other side of the table like I did, I said, oh, there's a way for me because I'm really good at rail number one. I can take a business. I was a turnaround specialist. I can take a business. I can fix it up and turn it into something somebody else wants to buy. I'm really good at rail number one. Rail number two, and I wasn't so good at it. I didn't know the game. And so I threw myself into private equity, made a bunch of friends, and stayed in their world. I went to their events. I read their books. I had conversations with them, and I figured out the mindset of the best buyer of businesses who's private equity. There's a whole list of people below them, but I believe in the private equity world, there's about the top 20% at this point in time are the best in this, at the best of the best. Okay. That's who I learned from. And I figured out a custom tailored approach to my exit. That's what I started doing, again, for myself, not to become a guru, not to sell some program. It was not that. I started to want to teach this to people when I saw how threatened the small and mid-sized businesses are. Okay. Ethical capitalism versus non-ethical capitalism or unethical capitalism. And this is not that show because I say it a lot and I'm on a mission to help our family in the SME world, but let's talk. It's timely. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your business, and let's talk about the idea that if you're taking notes today and you want to get the most out of this show and what I'm about to talk about, and you want to get the most out of all of my shows, you can go back. There's I don't know, like, according to the latest gurus, there's probably $2 to $5 million worth of training for free on YouTube on my channel, because I just want our family to succeed. Okay. Go there, go look at the stuff that we talk about. There's lots of valuable information that other people are charging a shitload of money for. Okay. But you have to, number one, you have to come to the conclusion and understand it, that everybody exits how matters. That's like number one. If you don't get that, you can still learn some stuff, but it's not really set in your soul that you have to build something to exit, right? Now, secondarily, if you go a step beyond that, what you need to understand is, if a large portion of people are failing at business, and you see a lot of people doing something in business, you should probably not do what they're doing. Just a great place to start. Okay. So then you go, all right, how do I make decisions, Jason? How do I become better at discernment? Which is what this episode is all about, is improving your discernment about the decisions that you make, so that your particular machine, you, the person watching me, your two eyeballs, your one heartbeat, you and your team, how do you make it and make better decisions so that you can make the ups and downs and eventually take your machine, pass it on to somebody else, take that money, go start another business, go start your own charity, go sail the 7 seas with you and a loved one, whatever it is. The outcome for me is that you take your machine and your asset, and it benefits you and your family and whatever your heart is set on to ease suffering in the world. That's the outcome. That's why I'm playing this game. Okay. So let's get into it. You got, again, if you're in that premise, if you accept that one premise, that you are somebody who is going to take responsibility for numbers, common sense, keeping your intellect high and your emotions low, let's roll. Okay. So focus in. And I want to be very upfront and clear. I don't ever hold against the gurus of the day, the marketers of the day, the business coaches of the day, the show, the popularity of the day. I don't ever hold the success that they have. I don't ever hold it against them. Why? Because they're playing the game. Early on, you have to decide how you're going to play the game. When I was younger, I decided to play the game like everybody else was playing it. I got predictable results. Okay. Ruined my reputation. I went out of business. I was in $2 million worth of debt. Went through a divorce, had major depression, all these kind of things. That's what following everybody else got me. Okay. Now shift it over into you can probably say the same exact thing in your life. Is that when you see a whole bunch of people, and we could go year by year by year, because it happens once, twice, 3 times a year, where there is a major launch and everybody gets involved and they spend a shitload of money, and whoever put together that unbelievable, record-breaking, we sold 30 million in 2 minutes kind of a scenario, they are the ones that walk out with a ton of money. And there's a lot of people that buy into it, that walk out with a bunch of shit they're never going to use. And now they have to justify. There's 2 things that come out of this, right? You justify making that decision logically, because you have to. You don't want to think, oh, I fell for a scam. They played on my emotions. They did it for 3 years. I'm now making excuses. There was so much given to me. There was blah, 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 blah. All of the game. Look, just go through any of the marketing and for the last 60 to 70 years, and you realize they are professional manipulators. Sometimes they manipulating you into buying something that is really good for you. It's not the people that are doing this that I'm talking to. I'm talking to you, the one that is going to decide to pluck themselves out, of the sheep that are out there and put yourself in a position where you're making discerning decisions about your business instead of giving money to people who are going to give you information that you can get for free anywhere on the internet, including my YouTube channel, that you're not going to look at, that you're not going to put into a plan of execution, that's not going to improve your bottom line, that's not going to help you and your retention of your your employees, not going to put you, improve the 4 areas of your business that you have to if you want to sell on that second rail to somebody else, if you want to pass over a good business, the stuff that's never going to help you. I want you to just pluck yourself out of that and sit back and learn some discernment and go and make it a better decision for you and your business. The people that have record-breaking sales and all this other kind of stuff, they're going to keep doing it because they are unprepared, they are ignorant, and I don't mean stupid, I mean ignorant. They just don't know yet that there's going to be, and they play on people's hope. This is the only thing I get angry at, okay, is that you play on people's hope. Business is a mother humper. It is not easy. The numbers are the way that they are because it's not easy. It is difficult, and so many people cannot, they just don't succeed, and they lose their life savings, and they lose their marriages, and they don't spend. It is a bitch to be in business, period, end of sentence. And so anything that comes along that tells you that it's going to be easy, or that, that you're going to have, that record breaking thing, if you follow their exact methodology, and you're going to draw people in for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, bam. And it's like watching people celebrate getting suckered. It is unbelievable to watch. And again, not angry with the people that do it. It's just not how I play, right? It's just not how I have decided in the second half of my life to play the game. You have to be honest. You have to tell people that this is a hard game to play, that you have to change you as an individual more than you have to change the outside world, more than you have to change a line of code, or what your marketing is, or what your graphics look like, or how much AI you're applying, or all of those kind of things. Business is a box of those things that you have to get sequenced properly. The 5% that stay in business, and the 7% that actually sell, they figure out the sequence of readily available information that's properly sequenced for them, for their particular outcome. Otherwise, you're just getting sucked in to the latest, oh my gosh, and when everybody else is doing it, and they literally chemically, systematically play on what's called FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh, everybody else is doing it. They're going to get this batch of information that I don't have, and they're going to beat me. I'm telling you, when there's a rush of people buying information that everybody else is buying, I can promise you that your success ratio goes way up if you don't buy into the horse shit. Okay? Way up, because you make a conscious decision. That stuff is probably out there. They're executing on their business model. What am I doing in my business to fall in love with the outcome of my target audience and be better than anybody else at delivering it, be more profitable than anybody else doing it, to acquire my competition, to build something, a machine that I want to sell to somebody else? What am I doing that I don't need that information, right? I don't need somebody else's information, because there's nothing. And I'm going to say this again, and I want to hallelujah out of somebody. There is nothing new under the sun that's going to come out of Jason Cisneros' mouth or anybody else's mouth. What you're looking for is people that have a blueprint that you can follow that will get you to your predictable outcome. Period. End of sentence. Okay. Nothing new under the sun. It's sequencing. And in order to be able to properly educate people on sequencing, you have to have been able to walk that path yourself. Okay, you have to show and demonstrate that you've done this not only for yourself. If you're a teacher, right, for yourself, that's fine. You go, look, I did it. I've got the stuff. I've got all the evidence and blah blah blah. But if you're going to be and accept the moniker of being a teacher, a coach, a leader, somebody that's going to have other people's lives and their trust in your hands and with the information that you're giving, then by God, you better show some evidence that it worked for other people. You better show some evidence that it worked for other people. How do you do that? Due diligence. You look in their LinkedIn reviews, you look in all the stuff. There's due diligence. There's so many things that if people would have just Googled or looked in LinkedIn and go, how many people, if they're trying to sell me some information to help me, how many people has their information helped over time? LinkedIn recommendations, gold standard still to this day. If you're a business owner, I would work on getting people to give you recommendations there because they are the gold standard. They can't be faked, and they are people that you can reach out to and ask questions of the entire time. So not a day for that. There's lots of people that I can introduce you to that know how to build a successful LinkedIn. Not a place to sleep on if you're a business owner, because that's where people that sign the front of the check go. Instagram's where the people that sign the back of the check go. All right. So, and that was not my piece of wisdom, by the way, that was somebody else's. So let's talk about this thing for just a second. Let me tell you, because this is not just a rant. I've been thinking about this deeply for a long time because it's the way I live my life. Those of you that know me know that I'm involved in physically involving myself in undercover rescues of children. I've been doing it for about a decade now. I've rescued from with OUR. I've rescued with nine or 10 other teams. After that, and then I settled with CERT Ministries. And have been with them for 5 or 6 years at this point. Okay. This is something that I do for real. This isn't an opinion. Okay. Domestic violence before that still is, always will be, because I was adopted and my adopted father went to prison for attempted murder of me and my mother when I was 17. Lots of abuse before that. So domestic violence, that's something that I'm involved in. Feeding people, Feed a Billion. I'm still, one of the CEO of Feed a Billion with AJ. And one of the things that I got involved with the feeding people was because trafficking and domestic violence are something that happens as a natural branch of food insecurity. Okay, so it was something that I wanted to get involved in. And in those 3 areas, I have to know my numbers. Now, this is about me, but in your own life, you want to lose weight. You want your relationships to be better. You want to be happier. You want to make more money, You got to take the responsibility for yourself to get into measurement obsession. And if you don't, you are a rookie and you will continue to be an amateur at everything that you do. Now, trafficking, there's 10 million children that are being trafficked around the world, both labor and sex trade. If I'm involved in trafficking, the number will go from 10 million to 9,999,999, right? That will mean that I'm impacting the world of trafficking. I know my number. I know the organizations that I work with and that I support, and I'm looking at the overarching number and environment, and am I having an impact in it? Yes or no. All I have to do is look at numbers year over year over year. Yes, no, maybe so. At least I made a difference to that one. I understand all of that, but there's numbers involved and I got to know them. Okay. Domestic violence. There is a domestic violence occurrence, a woman being beaten in her own home by someone that she calls boyfriend or husband every 11 minutes. Okay. Not acceptable. But if I'm going to impact it, if I'm going to donate to it, if I'm going to help that, then a number 11 every 11 minutes needs to go up to 12 minutes. 13 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. See what I'm saying? Okay. Starvation every 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody just died of starvation, not starvation related issues, starvation. And if I'm going to impact it, then that number goes from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. It goes 6 seconds, 10 seconds, 25 seconds. If we're going to impact the numbers, then I got to know the numbers. How about business owners? Now let's bring this number to something that is crucial to you as a human being, to you and your family. If you own a business, that is primarily, not everybody I know, but primarily that is how you support your family. That's how you put a roof over your head. That's how you feed them. That's how you put them through school. That's how you put clothes on their back. That's how you do the things that extra you want to do. You travel, you experience this world. You be able to take care of yourself health-wise. All of those things come down to your business. It's why you got to take this so seriously. Okay? Business survival stats. For the last 80 years, think about this for just a second. For the last 80 effing years, these numbers have not changed. I'm going to say it again. Give me another hallelujah out there, right? For the last 80 years, these numbers have not changed. Year 1, 20% gone. Year 2, 50% gone. Year 3, 66% gone. Year 4, 80% gone. And by 95% of companies that start, only 5% of them see their 10th birthday. That's the numbers. No matter who the guru is, no matter who everybody's celebrating, no matter who everybody's going, oh my God, guess who I gave my money to today, right? Or the other side of it, which is like, oh, that person's the devil. Did you know that they did $20 million in 30 seconds? Both sides of that argument are wrong. Both sides of those arguments, the best way to win in that argument is to not be part of it, is to understand that you set yourself apart from those people who get played on their hope or are drawn in and their attention and their energy is brought into a fight. There's so many people that there's two sides of that equation, right? And like I said, one is they're justifying getting suckered for information that they could get for free, okay? And because they're part of the group, they got FOMO, they got suckered, but from what they did. They don't like to be told that and they get mad about it, right? But the other side of that gets pissed off that the person who was doing the suckering, right, made more money than they did. They're like, how can I out sucker people? They're just doing this, blah, blah, blah. The best way to be a part of, to the best place to be in that argument is not in it. Going, there's going to be the guru of the day. This is how I live my life. I don't buy the shit. I don't participate in beating people up. I protect the one. From trafficking to domestic violence to feeding people, I focus on the one. In business, I focus on the one. I know that there's not that many people that are my clients out there. I know that over the next 5 years, I'm only going to help about 600 people sell their business for life-changing money. Okay, that's going to be 600 ones. It might be you. It might be somebody that sees me on stage. It might be most of the business that we get is from referrals, but I know that I have to focus on that one business. My team knows that they have to focus on that one business because as Keith Cunningham says, business is not a bathrobe. One size does not fit all. Everybody has a different outcome. Everybody has a different end game. And when we get through, the first thing that we do is get you clear on your end game so that you can then measure. You've got to be a measurement obsessive person in business. Okay. You got to be measurement obsessive or else you're just hoping that you're going to win, and hope has never been a successful strategy. Okay. Let me take a breath because I'm getting all fired up. You guys with me out there? Let me see somebody. Let's see. Just say, I'm with you, Jason. I'm with you, baby. Come on. I want to hear it. I want to see it. Okay. Now, let's go to the next idea here. Okay. We were talking about it earlier. Family, business, and succession. Only 40% of businesses are successfully passed over to the second generation. Only 13% of that 40% make it to the third generation, and only 3% make it to the fourth generation. Most businesses die with their founder, and that founder leaves a mess for their family. A mess. Kids fighting over stuff like, oh, dad had or mom had a $10 million business. We're going to fight. We're going to go to court. We're going to ruin our bond amongst the siblings because we're going to fight over that 10 million, not understanding that it was $10 million in revenue. And for the last 4 or 5 years, while mom or dad was sick, that they drove it into 2 million. So really what they're splitting up is $2 million worth of debt. Okay. And that's going to take years, and it's going to ruin familial relationships. I've walked this step. I've been put in probate. I've been put in these situations with these businesses over and over and over again. It's your responsibility as the founder to, if you're going to pass that business on, or if it's going to dissipate, that you put the proper situation in hand for when and if you pass. Everybody exits. How matters. Do not leave your family a jacked up situation. And most people do. Every new year comes with a new guru. Every new guru comes with a brand new situation, comes with a new message, comes with a new way, whether it's business or marketing or branding or whatever it is. They endear themselves and they get put up on a pedestal, and they get bought, and they're go, oh my God, did you know, blah, 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 and good for them, and celebrating. And then you've got the people tearing them down, and it's this cycle of horse shit. Because everybody just wants to build somebody up and then they want to tear them down, right? Just pluck yourself out of that. Be the one that steps aside and does not participate in the hype and the madness. You're not going to miss out on anything. If in the last 80 years, I'm not trying to be a dick here. I just love you so much. I got to get through sometimes to people. But if in the last 80 years, somebody came along and they walked on water and they came out and they went, oh, here's this brand new thing that's going to change your life in business. And we saw that number change, and oh my gosh, it went from 95%. Oh, no, only 50% of people like go out of business. And, and then in the first year, 80% of them made it to the goal line this year, and blah. And we saw those numbers move. I would be in the church pew celebrating that person, right? I would be in the church pew celebrating that program. I would be in the front row paying the most money for the biggest premiere, plop, plop, plop in the front. I would be there. I'm not there. I'm out looking for the one because I got shit that works. It's worked for me. I'm looking to build a community of people that set themselves aside, right? That set themselves apart. Because your hearts and your success are necessary for our country to function. It's necessary for our children and our grandchildren to grow up in the fiscal opportunity to be able to beat your demons down and be able to free yourself financially. We're all enslaved when we're born. Some of you are born, but the people that are silver plates and have money, they don't follow me. Okay. That's not my, whatever reason, it's not my people. Okay. We, for the most part, are handed a slavery thing and say, this is, you gotta pay some shit to be able to survive in this world. All I wanted to do when I understood the outcome, the only outcome of owning a business is freedom for me and my family. That's the only outcome for owning a business. Anything other than that, I'm failing. Anything other than that, I'm putting my family at risk. Anything other than that, I'm playing someone else's game, and I'm going to get sucked in to their funnel and to their marketing and to their promises and their premises and all the other bullshit that goes along. Pastor Rudy told me a long time ago, a slave cannot free another slave. And if you want to attain the highest value of yourself as a human being, it ends up with you being a servant. That is how it's happened with me. I am a much bigger servant today than I ever have been. Right. And that is the ethical capitalism outcome. You can't not do that. You can in unethical capitalism. There's lots of ways. You get lobbyists, you be Amazon, you be Microsoft, you be, you be these types of businesses. Lots of ways to be unethical. I don't like it. I don't want to be that. And plus, if I'm being honest, I've never had the opportunity. I hope I don't get the opportunity because who knows, right? When ultimate power is handed to somebody, I've done well. I've gotten freedom from my family, my kids, and my grandkids if they do what's right with it. Okay. They may lose it all too in those numbers. I'm just doing my best to go against these, right? The stats haven't moved here. All I want to tell you, all I want to tell you from this is that the stats have not moved. No matter who has the biggest launch, no matter who fills the biggest stadiums, no matter who got the biggest stuff online, no matter who sold the most in the shortest amount of time, no matter who changed their clothing, no matter who changed what they did to get attention, no matter who's got the most followers on TikTok, no matter who has the most followers on Facebook, and as it's dying, how many people got the most on Instagram, no matter who is celebrated at the highest level in education of business, the numbers have not fucking moved. Therefore, the people selling this shit should not get the lifeblood of your business called free cash flow. No. Spend it on infrastructure. Spend it on doing the things that the 5%ers do. Spend it on trying to figure out how to get around those 5%ers. And there's lots of them in your town that you could just take to dinner. You could take them to coffee. It's how I learned what I do. It's how I learned how to get myself out, was other people who knew what they were doing telling me how they did it. Sequencing. Whew, what other slides we got on here? Oh, wait, what was the bottom part of that? Yep, they use manipulation, hype, scarcity. This time it's different. Blah, blah, blah. It's not different, not for 80 years. All right, 5%er playbook. Measure what matters. This is a great Keithism, okay? Keith Cunningham-ism, the Rich Dad and the Poor Dad books. The guy's was my mentor for 10 years. I sat on his chairman's council. I got to be one of my favorite pictures, and maybe I'll have my team throw it up here during this section, is sitting at the feet of the master. And now it's Keith Cunningham. And one of my favorite pictures is me in one of the chairman councils, and I'm right next to him. I'm at his right hand. We're discussing. Like, it's one of those moments that I will forever cherish. Refuse the hype. This takes, it's not, I'm sorry if I'm coming across as yelling at you today. I'm not meaning to. I'm very passionate, and I haven't even met you, and I love you because you are part of my family. You are part of a history, a long history that the world that we know it today doesn't exist without our DNA, the DNA of a merchant, the DNA of a business owner, the DNA of our risk, the DNA of the fact that we can't work for somebody else because we, like as Mark Andreessen says, if you are a business owner, you can't not be a business owner. There's no way around it. You will be drawn into it. You will ruin everything around you as far as opportunities to have a job, and you will always end up in entrepreneurship. That's your DNA. You can't run from it any more than a bird can run from the fact that they have to fly. Penguins, I know. I always get smart ass comments. Jack, penguins don't fly. All right, I get it. But you know what I'm trying to say. So refuse the hype. Difficult. Takes discipline. Build real systems. Lots of information. We can obviously help you. If you need help in building systems, we do great assessments. We do great at training people for their end game. We do great for optimization. We do great for exit prep. And we also do great due diligence and with our brokerage to help you sell your business. Those are the things that we're great at. We're super passionate about it, and that's what we do. Also, there's a lot of people out there. I want to say this because it's important. There are great business brokers. There are great consultants. There are great business coaches. There are great, just coaches in general that can help you get your mindset right. There's a lot of people that are great. They're just disseminated and busy, right? Built to Exit is my heart. I built it for the reason of being one of the only sell side advocates for business owners to protect them in the process of building a machine that can be sold. But there's lots of us out there, and we have to start standing behind each other. We have to start helping each other. I don't mind, if another consultant or a consulting business or another brokerage is crushing it and they're doing a good job for the customer, I will celebrate that till the day I take my last breath. This is not me. We're the only good ones out there and everybody else sucks. There's a lot of people that are good, but we have to find each other and we have to band around each other so that we can lend each other. Like I said, we can only help about 600 in the next 5 years. That's our capacity. Out of 33 million companies, we can only help about 600. So that means we need to have a team of us that are coming together around these ideas. Plan your exit. We've done a couple of shows on that, but that's a big difference. That's that fourth box that we talk about. Discipline over dopamine. Just do some research on that so that you understand. The more discipline that you execute, the more discipline. Like, yesterday, my wife and I have started, this cool little program that we're working on. And yesterday morning, after traveling and probably got a little bit of a cold or whatever, I was like, oh, I just don't want to go. I don't want to go. And I got up and did it anyway, because that's who I have become and who my wife and I push each other to remain, is to do the things that are difficult when they appear difficult. So those things, this is straight out of the 5% Percenter playbook, and you don't need to buy shit from me to execute on these. So be the 5% that survives, sells, and passes it on properly. Okay. That's it for the show. BuiltToExit.biz. We have some cool tools over there for you as a business owner if you want them. JasonCisneros.com, which is my blue sign up here behind me. JasonCisneros.com if you want to find out where I'm going to be. The only thing I really ask, I put my heart and soul into this show. My team obviously produces an unbelievable show with great value and visuals, so you can constantly revisit it. The only thing that I really ask is that you take these ideas and I know they're different. I know they're not popular. I know that, we're not monetizing. I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I've not one time ever advertised anything for Built to Exit or for the predecessor of this company. So, I just ask that you share this with somebody who needs the information. That's it. That's really it. And if this resonates, come back every Saturday, come hang out with us, email us, at either one of those websites and tell us, hey, I'd love for you to talk about this, that, or the other, because I'm here for you. I love doing this. I'll keep doing it. As long as there's more than one viewer, I'll be here. So, I'm very, very passionate. I see what you're doing. There is, in the next 24 months, going to be an unbelievable opportunity for business owners. The groundwork has been set. Lots of great information, the interest rates, all of the fundamentals are coming together. And as I've been saying for the last year, get your shit together now. Stop chasing free money. Stop chasing get rich quick schemes. Stop chasing snake oil horseshit. Stop buying it's going to make me rich marketing bullshit, and focus on your fundamentals. And those of you that have been listening to me, you see what's happening. You have a lot of money out there searching for businesses that are properly built. A lot. We're talking in the $2 to $3 trillion sitting there waiting to buy successful businesses. I want one of those businesses to be yours. We would love to help you through that process. But if not, I would love to see and hear about you going through this process, even if it's on your own or with another broker or with another mergers and acquisitions expert. But be discerning for you, your family, your future, your end game. You've got to decide to be the one. Pull yourself out of the argument. Don't participate in it online. You don't see me making comments one way or the other when it comes to the newest thing that people are raging about. I don't care. That doesn't pay my bills. That doesn't rescue kids. That doesn't help domestic violence survivors. That doesn't feed people. It doesn't help me have a great day. Doesn't help me have great adventures with my wife and my friends, and getting to meet you in person has nothing to do with us. We have our own business, and we got to be the one. So I am Jason Cisneros. Please share this with somebody that you think might like it or enjoy it. And be the one. Like, take care of yourself. Look at yourself. You are very unique in this world. Like, less than 10% of the world is like you if you own your own business. So I admire you. I am proud to be a part of this SME family myself. And I look to be of service to you, to your family, to your business, your children, your grandchildren over the next 5 to 10 to 20 years. All right. Thanks for being here. I love you all. For me and everybody on my team, all 30 plus of us at the Built to Exit corporate family, we love you, and I hope to see you in real life sometime soon. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday. Same bat channel, same bat phone number. Talk to you soon. Bye. God bless.